morning.
Good morning. My name is Rich Huber, and I'm launching a new YouTube series on how to build custom cabinetry, do finished trim work, and furniture, tables, chairs, maybe even stairs. But the first of the series is going to be about building high-end custom cabinets in your own home shop, using readily available tools from any tool store. You don't need any high-end, very expensive tools to do this.
So Rich, I understand that you specialize in traditional face frame cabinetry like we're seeing here. Can you share with us a little bit of the detail? This is an example of a finished upper face frame cabinet. What are some of the elements of it, and why is that important?
Well, European style cabinets are just a box with doors. A face frame cabinet is a separate frame that's attached to the carcass of the cabinet. And a face frame cabinet is different in the way that the face frame is the size of the cabinet, not the box or carcass of the cabinet.
And the face frame is actually part of the structure and governs the dimensions of the carcass ultimately, right?
Yes, and usually with face frame cabinets, a high-end detail is insetting the door and drawer fronts instead of overlaying.
Now that's a real challenge to people, and so you've got some special techniques that you've perfected over the years to get a beautiful fit with this very small margin around your doors, just a perfect margin all the way around. Look at that. Are you going to show us how to do that, Rich?
Yeah, it's done with very simple tools and techniques, and just some things to remember. You need to know what hardware you're going to use and the appliances you're going to use before you design and build your kitchen. Because everyone is going to have some kind of different offset or clearance that you're going to need to incorporate into the cabinet.
The first cabinet group that you're going to build for us in your series is basically a desk credenza, right? So there's no appliance involved in that.
No.
All right, okay. And you've got a bead detail that's just decorative. That looks really complicated, but you're going to show us how to do that, right?
Yeah, this kitchen is designed by the homeowner. It has an Asian theme to it. It's all bamboo. And it's built on site. We made the moldings, the doors, and the crown molding all on site. And we started installing it a little while ago. There's still a couple more cabinets I have to build and a couple of details we got to iron out. But yeah, again, you need to know what kind of hardware, what kind of appliances, and if you know that, it'll be a lot easier when you build the kitchen.
Now, the starting place to build cabinets like this is with the face frame, is that right?
Yeah, this kitchen actually ends on each end at a wall. So the dimension is going to be, it could be different from the face of the cabinet to the back of the cabinet, depending on how square your corners are. And that's another reason why you want to have a scribe on the edge of the cabinet, because that eliminates the need to deal with an unsquare corner.
Well, what do you mean? When you say a scribe, I'm not sure our viewers are going to follow exactly what that is. So can you show us an example here of what you mean by a scribe?
Yeah.
That's where the
face framing will extend past the side of the cabinet.
I see.
On each side. So what that does is when you're installing the cabinet and butting to another cabinet or to the wall, it creates a void between the two in case there's any bump or deviation in the wall or the side of the cabinet. Because if you have a bump in the cabinet and you need to screw them together, it may prevent you from pulling the faces together, which is going to obviously affect your installation.
So the scribe buys you some insurance to make accommodation for walls that are out of square, distortions in an adjacent wall or cabinet, or if the floor isn't level or wall isn't plumb. For example, on this cabinet over here, you've handled the scribe a little bit differently for the same reasons, but also you're accommodating a dishwasher. Show us what you've done here.
Well, I know that this corner is about 1/8 out of square.
How do you know that?
I put a framing square in it.
That's one of the first things you do when you're
Yeah.
evaluating your field condition.
And I
right?
can tell just by doing that, pushing it to one wall, and that tells me that I'm 1/8 of an inch out of square in the depth of the cabinet.
Can you show us how the scribe will accommodate that?
So now, because the face of the cabinet extends past the side of the cabinet, I can butt it to the wall and not have to worry about the corner being out of square. I'm showing it at a drastic angle here, but that's just the reason why you want that scribe, is it takes the problem of the corner out of the equation.
I see, that makes sense. Now, in this case, you had a reason for you've got a larger scribe here than on the other cabinet you showed us. Typically, you do 1/4 of an inch. You've got more here, but you've got a reason for it.
Yeah, the wall is a little bit out of plumb and the corner is a little bit out of square, so I wanted to make sure I can accommodate that. But right here is a high-end dishwasher, and we're gonna build a panel to put on the front of it, and we really don't know exactly what we want for a width. Typically, it would be 18 or 24 inches for a typical dishwasher. But in this case, we may want more or less. So this scribe lets me move this cabinet left or right to accommodate the size panel I want to make. It's easier to build an 18 1/4 inch panel than it is, an 18 15/16. It's just a little easier to figure out your measurements.
So we begin with a good drawing. We begin the process with the face frame itself. Everything follows from there. And you're going to be showing us step by step exactly what that process is, as if we're working right next to you in the shop.
Yep.
Boy, that sounds great. Thank you, Rich. Right. Rich, would you show us some of the drawers that you've built for this set?
Okay, this is a recycling drawer. All these cabinets are made out of bamboo. It's on Bloom hardware, which is some of the best hardware out there.
I can't see the drawer slides. Where are they?
It's an undermount.
No kidding.
So they're easy to install. There's just certain clearances you need to realize when you're using them. Same for the drawer.
Wow, the power of doing your own stuff. And I understand in this kitchen you've built a custom spice drawer. Can you show that to us?
That's over here. On each side, there's
I think it's right here, actually.
Oh, is this it?
That's for utensils, and then the one on the right.
Oh, this is
there
the
you go,
spice drawer,
for
yeah,
spices. Boy, that's the power of being able to build your own stuff.
Yeah, again, if you know what you're using, even down to the size of your dinner plate, you can adapt the kitchen to that measurement. These cabinets are actually 12 inches deep on the inside. A typical kitchen cabinet that you buy is only 10.5 to 11.
So that would accommodate a large dinner plate or large a set of bowls and typical things that you'd have in your kitchen and often struggle with where to store them.
Yeah, and I've always made my cabinets 13 inches deep. The customers seem to like that. It doesn't take any more space out of your kitchen, and it just gives you that extra room inside.
What is this cabinet behind you here overhead?
Okay, this is what's called a blind corner. We didn't have enough room here to make an angled corner cabinet. So what a blind corner is, it's just a regular basic cabinet that butts into an extended cabinet with space
back in the corner.
Back in the corner. A lot of people would say, well, how do you reach back in there and get it? You can. I mean, you're not going to hide, your pot of gold back there. You're going to just put things that you may not use all the time. And, it's easy to get to. It's not a big deal.
And what is this beauty over your shoulder here?
This is the range hood.
Oh, wow. Isn't that spectacular?
This is another high-end unit. It's contained inside this box that I put in the cabinet.
Oh, we can see it here.
And
Isn't that spectacular?
it's a very quiet unit. These are called knuckle hinges. They're non-adjustable hinges, so you have to be right on with your measurements and your routing of the mortise for the hinge, because there's no room for error, and there's no square or height adjustment on them. So once they hang, they hang. So you better be square with your cabinet.
Well, it's easy to see why your reputation is unmatched, my friend. Can you show us a few other examples of work you've done? We find ourselves in what looks like a Japanese-style guest bathroom. Different material here. What are we looking at?
Well, this is made out of domestic Douglas fir, straight grain Doug fir. And these are what's called friction drawers. They just ride on wood runners. They don't have any metal hardware to ride on.
That would handle all the smalls that you typically keep in a bathroom.
Yeah, and what I like to do is use melamine inside the cabinets. People may say, well, melamine is a cheap material. It's not cheap, it's inexpensive, but it's a sheet good that's made exactly for what I used it for here. It's sanitary, it's flat, and it's straight.
Easy to keep clean.
Yeah, and if people, people would ask me, well, what happens if it gets wet? If any plywood gets wet or any kind of particle board or melamine gets wet, it's going to swell and deteriorate. If you have a leak, you got to call a plumber, not the carpenter.
Well, you like it because it's dead flat, uniform, easy to work with, and then it offers the homeowner the desirable features that you mentioned.
Yeah, for a base cabinet, it's fine because you're basically opening it and closing it, and you're keeping things in there that you wouldn't normally reach for in an upper cabinet. So,
did you build these mirrors also? Are these custom?
Yeah, we made the mirrors out of MDF and covered them with a veneer, and made these little ears to go on them.
Yeah.
The backsplash is we call it tiger band. It's a straight grain Doug fir with a 1/2-inch gap.
Really gives a nice Japanese bath feel. And then you've got some niches on the end. I know there's a medicine cabinet in here that coordinates nicely.
Yeah, this is a medicine cabinet that my apprentice built, who was actually the homeowner. And again, with the melamine, by using melamine in something like this, it kind of makes its own light when you open it. So once you open it, it's nice and bright in there. And the thing we strive for on this job is no mechanical fasteners visible. So you can see there's no nails or screws in the face of this. It's all screwed in from inside. And it's screwed in from behind the hinges, so you can't even see the screws when you open it.
Very interesting details. I can definitely pick up on the Asian theme of some of the design work. Well, your cabinets are not limited to bathrooms and kitchen. What do we find here?
This is sort of like an armoire, chest of drawers combination. This is also made of Doug fir. And the thing about Doug fir, you can get it in different colors. It can come as an auburn, a blonde, or even a pink. And what I like to do when you get this blonde grain in it, it stands out pretty much, so you have to kind of incorporate it in a way where it looks good in the cabinet. In this instance, I book matched it on the doors. You wouldn't want it just all over the place. So what I did was keep it on the inside vertical of the styles of the doors, and I just think that's a good look. And this cabinet was also installed with screws behind the hinges from inside.
So you can't really see.
And there's no mechanical fasteners on the outside, and that's a
Okay.
real custom job there.
Very nice. All right. Well, I can see how you take the design to the next level with your choice not only of the material. Did you suggest Doug fir to your client for this bathroom and bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. And gives a nice feel reminiscent of a Japanese bath. But I can also see how you select your material layout to really highlight and augment the design work.
And you kind of want to use, when you're dealing with verticals and horizontals, you want to kind of keep the rails out of the same piece so the grain follows through. Even though it's hard to see because it's so far away. I'll show you another example of a cabinet where that's evident.
Well, it's harmonious to look at it. There's nothing that jumps out. Everything that I see there, it just looks like it belongs. This is a showstopper. You call this the service galley. It supplements the kitchen. What is the material that we're looking at?
This is a wood called sapelli. It's in the mahogany family. It's from West Africa. And what we did, what I was just talking about matching grains, we used in this 6-drawer bank here, I used the same piece of wood with the consistent grain going all the way through. It looks much better than having different grains where you just haphazardly pick them out of the pile.
Boy, this material has a luster and personality, really rich looking. It looks like fine furniture that's just built into the home. Well done.
Again, these are just friction drawers. They're not on any kind of hardware. And the inside is bamboo.
That's a part of the pantry, right?
Yeah. Inside is bamboo.
Show us some of the drawers here, Rich.
The drawers are also bamboo. Has a pigskin liner.
I can see the segments of the bamboo here on the top edge. Very nice.
And the liner kind of accents the wall color. It's not real pigskin, it's just a synthetic material. And the bottom drawer is, you know, for baking sheets and pans and things like that.
Very custom. Nice.
And then this is the freezer here, which we kind of hid behind some tiger band.
So you repeated your tiger band theme on the freezer door front, and you did the same thing in bamboo in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Very nice. It transitions into a cabinet group that you call the sapelli masterpiece in your client's study. Tell us about this.
This took about 4 months to build.
Look at all the detail.
Again, it's sapelli. We matched grains in all the drawer fronts and all the stiles and rails. And again, the interiors are bamboo with a yellow pigskin.
Is that real pigskin?
No, it's, I don't know, I forget what it's called, but it's just a synthetic material.
Like an ultra leather type of material?
Yeah.
Okay.
And have some wood shelves.
For storing books and...
Yeah, and they're adjustable. And then the top is a pencil grain sapelli, and we put this Wengi inlay in it. I call it the Eclipse.
That looks really difficult to do.
It is and it isn't. I had to steam and wet this for 3 days in order to bend just this little piece in here. Very hard wood, but this is the natural color. It doesn't have any stain on it.
Dark chocolate brown like that. Very nice. Tell us what we see here.
Well, this is a half bath, pound bath, and this is a vanity that's built out of a wood called Wengi. It's a natural color. The lighter green is quarter sawn and the darker green is flat sawn. And the two together make the dark and light contrast without having to put any stain on it.
Boy, it looks like dark chocolate, Rich.
Yeah, and the handles we had turned from a guy in Australia. And the inside is bamboo. And it's a little bit of a difficult wood to work with. It's very hard. And the blue granite is called Blue Bahia. And it kind of goes good with the...
I can see the Asian inspiration again for this. And here again, you also built a mirror to coordinate. You also built some lighting for this bathroom, did you not?
Yeah, we have a hanging light that will be in this corner right here. And it's a Frank Lloyd Wright inspired light that we just altered a little bit.
I see. Boy, it'd be great if we could see some of that as well. Nicely done. This is another interpretation of a Japanese bath. Here we have a painted cabinet, the only one in this home.
Well, this cabinet is all poplar. The face and doors are all poplar. The interior is bamboo on this. It's kind of like a makeup sitting vanity, makeup mirror. And then we used melamine on the inside. And the drawers are also bamboo with a red pigskin on the interior this time.
Right.
And again, they're all soft stop blue drawer slides.
Can't see any drawer slides anywhere in the home, yet it operates so smoothly. There's some special techniques to working with those. I understand they're very tricky to fit, but you worked out a process that's consistent, reliable, and not terribly difficult. You'll show
Yeah.
us, right?
They have standoffs in certain dimensions you have to go by in order to use them. But yeah, we made the crown molding. This is called a solid crown molding, which means it bears on the back and the top. And we made the bead, and we painted it on site. It's a black lacquer and gold hardware, and it's one of the only painted cabinets in the house.
I see. Well, the versatility of what you've built here is impressive, to say the least. So you have told me that your plan with this series on building face frame cabinets is not going to spare any detail. You're going to reveal your most coveted secrets, from material selection to milling to preparing the parts and fitting drawer fronts, doors, building the carcass, and it will be as if we're right there beside you in the shop.
Yeah, nothing's going to be sped up 10 times, done in real time as you're watching.
And
I'm going to show you how to do. You do not need expensive tools.
all right, well, very good. Well, it's exciting to know that we're going to have access to how-to, step by step. So we'll look forward to seeing your series. Thanks so much for sharing this with us, Rich.
Okay.